Shalom. First off, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Racha Chodash, Barakatha Yahweh, and Barakatha Yahweh Shai. Yahweh is the true name of Heavenly Father, who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahweh Shai is the true name of the Heavenly Father's Son, the Son of Yahweh, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. I want to give double honors to my apostles and to my elders of Great Millstone, who I learn this truth from, and peace and blessings goes to the hopeful elect, my brothers that are out in the highways, pushing his word and his truth and sincerity. In today's lesson, Lord willing, this lesson is edifying through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. But let's start off this lesson by reading the book of 2nd Ezra 16, verse 21. It says, Behold, victual shall be so good cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. All right, and we're in this time right now where because, victuals like food is still easy to get to, still easy to attain, still easy to buy. All right, that these people think that they're in good case. Just because they can go to all-you-can-eat restaurants or go to their favorite restaurant or their fast food joint, they think they're a good case, not realizing of the famine, the sword, and the great confusion and the evils that are happening around them, and how real soon they wouldn't be able to go to their favorite restaurant. They wouldn't be able to cook a decent meal, because great famine is coming. And this is what I want to go into in today's lesson is famine. All right, because I have this video that I want to play from TikTok, and let's play it real quick. So you see right here, right? Map of all the food. This is a map of all the food processing plants and facilities that have caught fire or been destroyed in the past year. And let's not forget all the animals, all the livestock that the government is forcing these farmers to kill, or these livestock that have been dying randomly. All right. This is all done by design. This is not just a terrible event. This is all done by design. These train derailments, these factories being destroyed are all happening by design. Esau is setting the stage up for famine. All right, which really is Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, using Esau, because we know Esau, being the wicked, is a sword that the Lord uses to punish the wicked of his people. All right, but all this is being done by design. All right, and Esau is going to use this food, controlling the food supply as a weapon. All right. And this is not happening in America. This is happening all around the world. All right. A quote from Henry Kissinger: who controls the food supply controls the people. Who controls the energy can control the continents. Who controls the money can control the world. We know who has control of all that. And that's the wicked elites. All right, the 13 ruling families. They control everything. All right. And a lot of people, they're aware. They're not aware of this. They're not paying attention, or wondering why or know of all these food processing centers, these facilities, these livestock dying randomly, being killed off. A lot of people are not concerned about this because right now it's not affecting them because they're still able to go out and get some food. They're still able to go out and buy some food. They're still able to go out to the, like I said, to their favorite restaurant, or they're all they can eat, not realizing that the famine is growing upon the earth. All right. And a lot of people, like I said, are not aware until it affects them. Like right here, right? Wanted to show something else. Which basically from this video, right? But I want to read this. Sad thing is that by the time everyone realizes what's happening, it will be too late. Yep. It will be too late. All right. By the time people realize what's going on, to realize what's going on, it's gonna be too late for them. All right, because people don't care. People are not paying attention. People are not watching. Everyone is in their own world, doing what they want to do, not caring, not having a care in the world. But like for example, with 2020, what happened during that time. All right, you heard about the thing over there in China, but no one was really concerned. Everyone was going about their lives, doing as they please. All right, it was on the news. All right, it was on the news, but people were doing as they please until it affected them. And that's when people started to panic, going to grocery stores and buying toilet paper and cleaning supplies because, they're being programmed to, not realizing that they should have grabbed the food, and everyone was stocking up at the last minute. And this is where when you people realize that when some major happening and you realize that life ain't normal no more, you're going to go to your stores and people are going to ransack the grocery stores until it is found empty. All right. If it's not empty by the time you get there, man, because people are not aware. They're not paying attention. This is why the day is going to come as a thief in the night, man. Or it's going to catch these people off guard. All right. Here it is, sword, famine, and great confusion is happening all around you. It's not like it's you people. This information is not out. All right. You got alternative news channels. You got people on TikTok. You got what's these news that will tell you, will tell you what's going on. All right, you have people on TikTok that'll tell you what's going on. All right, but your mainstream media like CNN, Fox will not mention this. They'll keep you distracted, and this is why a lot of people are not aware. They go on a daily life not knowing that real soon it's gonna be a day where they're not gonna be able to eat. All right, but real quick, let's go into this article. Food as a weapon of war. And Esau is going to use food as a weapon. All right. As a weapon to control the people, because we're in a process of Esau trying to fulfill his enterprise. And part of his enterprise, his NWO, is trying to get the masses, the Charagmo, the MOTB. Okay. And they know that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to come against it. They're going to protest. The scriptures mentioned in Job 20 how they're going to be in straits. They're going to be in difficulties trying to install their new order, because they're going to have, the people, which goes into the wicked, which that word goes into our people, are going to come up against them. All right. You're going to have people that are going to be aware of this and trying to go against the NWO. All right. And that's when Esau's going to send his troops in. But in reality, not only is he going to send his troops to control the people, he's going to take away your food, all right, as a weapon of war. And food as a weapon of war has been known amongst in ages. It's been used in ancient times. All right, you have certain accounts in the scriptures, and Lord willing, I bring out some of them. How food, besieging a city. Okay, in the ancient world, because cities in the ancient world were usually built. A city was usually built within a wall. A wall was built around the city to protect the city from enemy soldiers. But what an enemy could do is besiege the land and cut off the food supply from entering in, which can cause the people to starve and usually get, if they can't defeat them in battle, the people of the city would submit to the enemy, let them take them over because there's no food. And the elites, we know Esau was wise is wiser than Daniel. All right, we know Esau knows about these tactics, and he's going to use these tactics today. All right, but with that, food as a weapon from encyclopedia.com. It says, control of food supplies. Let me see. Yeah, control of food supplies during war is important because war disrupts the seasonal pattern of growing crops, displace farming populations, and prevent the transport of food within the area of conflict. The economic cost of war may so impoverish citizens and local governments that they are unable to purchase or distribute needed food, even if it's available. A major focus of the Marshall Plan for Europe after the Second War was to prevent the kind of starvation and social upheaval that had followed World War One. All right, I'm gonna skim through this article real quick. It says withholding food. Food can be withheld by preventing it from being grown and harvested. All right, and that's what we're seeing right now. Food can be withheld by preventing it from being grown and harvested, all right, by destroying it and after harvest, by preventing it from being shipped to where it's needed, or by contaminating it and rendering it unfit for consumption. Like, for example, what we see going on right now. All right, they're contaminating the water supply with all these train derailments. All right, and ever since 2020, you had these government paying off these farmers, telling them to kill off their livestock. All right. Indigenous farming populations have been scattered or exiled from their native lands by conquering armies to make room for their own colonists, who would subject and establish their hegemony over the local inhabitants and provide food and warriors for future campaigns. Ancient armies have salted the earth and destroyed irrigation systems to make an area unsuitable for growing crops. And like I said, all these chemical factories, that chemicals leaking into the water from these train derailments that are affecting the crops in the Midwest, where a lot of food, that's where a lot of America gets its food from, the Midwest. It says, in the culmination of the Punic Wars with the Carthage in the 3rd and 2nd centuries BCE, Rome defeated the armies of Hannibal, destroyed his empire, and plowed the land with salt to make it infertile. The Roman practice of contaminating water supplies by dumping dead animals into wells has continued into recent history, as demonstrated by an incident during the American Civil War. All right. Sieges have fortified positions have been used since time immemorial to starve, demoralize, and physically weaken the conceited combatants. All right, so sieges, America is at siege. All right, and the first thing that they're doing is they're attacking the food supply. You people are not realizing this is like I said, an ancient custom. And let's get some scriptures going into that. Let's get the first one is 2nd Ezra 16:24. And it came to pass after this that Benhadad, king of Syria, gathered all his host and went up and besieged Samaria. And there was a great famine in Samaria, and behold, they besieged it until an ass head was sold for 80 pieces of silver, and the 4th part of cabs of dungs for 5 pieces of silver. And you gotta think about this, man. They were besieging the land of Samaria, until the people had no food. They ate all the food, because when you besiege the land, you're not allowing no one to come in. You're not allowing no one to leave. All right, so that means no food is coming in. Okay, to the point where people in that city were getting so hungry that they started eating their animals. All right, even eating birds' poop. And what do you think is going to happen here in America, where these people are not used to? Because back then, these people were much stronger. You can go out, you can go on without, people back then could go out, can live without food for longer than now. You know, people here in America probably, with the food and the chemicals and how this food's not really satisfying. It may taste good, but it doesn't really fill you up. It fills you up with chemicals, all these processed foods. A lot of people can't go out a day, can't go a day without eating, man. Remember, did a lesson, you are not you when you're hungry. A lot of people, all it's gonna take is a day for them to lose their shit, realizing that they can't eat no more, realizing that their favorite restaurant is closed. Realizing that the grocery stores are empty, because the scriptures speak about that in 2 Ezra, the 6th chapter. The storehouse is being found empty. Okay? But these people, man, they're gonna start eating the animals. All right? You're gonna have people that are gonna try to hunt animals, hunt birds, go to the local park, try to get some duck. People are gonna resort to eating whatever they can, and it's gonna get so bad here. These people are gonna resort to eating their own children. All right, eating each other. The famine is gonna be so bad, it's gonna resort to best friends fighting each other, fighting neighbors, breaking into their house, breaking into their neighbor's house to see if the neighbors got any food, because that's how bad it's gonna be here, man. Okay, it says, and the king of Israel was passing by upon the wall. There cried a woman unto him, saying, Help my lord, O king. And he said, If the Lord do not help thee, when shall I help thee? Out of the barn floor or out of the winepress? So even the king didn't have any food stored. It says, And the king said unto her, What allied thee? And she answered, This woman said unto me, Give thy son, that we may eat him today, and we will eat my son tomorrow. So we boiled my son and did eat him. And I said unto her on the next day, Give thy son, that we may eat him. And she hath hid her son. And it came to pass, when the king heard the words of the woman, that he rent his clothes, and he passed by upon the wall. And the people looked, and behold, he had sackcloth within upon his flesh. Then he said, The Most High, do so, and more also to me, if the head of Elisha the son of Shaphat shall stand on this day, on him this day. All right, so that was the point. The land of Samaria was besieged, okay, by Ben-Hadad, the king of Syria, in his army, to the point where people were eating their donkeys. Ass's head was being sold for 80 pieces of silver. And dung, people were eating bird poop, and to the point where they had no more, which resorted to people eating themselves, eating their children. All right, because you got a lot of women out here, all right, that have all these kids. They have all these kids, and they're not really, they don't really have that, even if they have it, that motherly love. That famine that's gonna come here is gonna get so bad that they're gonna resort to eating their own son or their daughters. Okay, because it happened in ancient time. We know that if it happened back then, it's gonna happen now. Especially that these people are much weaker, man. Okay, let's bring out another account. And this one is in the book of Judith. Judith 5:1. It says, Then it was declared to Hophernes, the chief captain of the army of Ashur, that the children of Israel had prepared for war, and had shut up the passages of the hill country, and had fortified all the tops of the high hills, and had laid impediments in the campaign countries. All right, let's see. Yep, that was it. Let's go to the next one, 7th chapter. Slakia, I had this earlier. It said they have victuals of war. Oh, there it was. Judah 4:1. It says, now the children of Israel that dwelt in Judea heard all that Hophernes, the chief captain of Nebuchadnezzar, king of the Assyrians, had done to the nations, and after what manner he had spoiled all their temples and brought them to naught. Therefore they were exceedingly afraid of him, and were troubled for Jerusalem and for the temple of the Lord their God. For they were newly returned from the captivity, and all the people of Judea were lately gathered together in the vessels and in the altar in the house were sanctified after the profanation. Therefore they sent into all the coasts of Samaria and the villages, into Bethlehem, and to Bethlehem and Jericho, and to Kobah and Esra, and to the valley of Salem, and possessed themselves beforehand of all the tops of the high mountains, and fortified the villages that were in them, and laid up victuals for the provision of war, for their fields were of late reap. So basically what happened was, when the Syrians were set to trying to were besieging these nations, Israel took upon themselves to go on this high mountain where you had this, straight in basically one way to go in and one way to go out. All right. And they knew about the Syrians. So what they did, they brought food, all right, to preserve them the time that the Assyrians were going to besiege them. Okay. And what comes to mind was that one show of Vikings, was it the Viking show on Netflix, where the Vikings were going to besiege, but they sent out spies, and they were going to besiege the city, but they saw that the people were ready for it. They brought in a lot of food, all right, because they know that, again, if the food is controlling the food supply is used as a weapon. Our history is, you have plenty of historical events that tell you that. All right, and I'm reading one of them. All right, but let's go to the 7th chapter. I want to go to the point. Judah 7:6. But in the second day, Hophernes brought forth all his horsemen in the sight of the children of Israel, which were in Bethlehem, and viewed the passage up to the city, and came to the fountains of the waters, and took them, and set garrisons of men of war over them, and he himself removed toward his people. Then came unto him all the chief of the children of Esau, and all the governors of the people of Moab, and the captains of the sea coast, and said, let our Lord now hear a word, that there be not an overthrow in thine army. For this people of the children of Israel do not trust in their spears, but in the height of the mountains wherein they dwell, because it is not easy to come up to the tops of their mountains. Now therefore, my Lord, fight not against them in battle array, and there shall not so much as one man of thy people perish. Right? Again, remember, Esau knows this. They know of stories like this. They know that they don't have to send their troops in to get the people to submit to the NWO. All they can do is control the food supply. And that will be enough to get the people to submit, because in these days, like I said, you're gonna have people that are gonna come against the NWO. They're not gonna want to take the Charagma, or they're not gonna want to take the MOTB. It's all right. You don't want to take it, that's fine. Let's just starve you out. Starve you out. You're not able to obtain no food, not able to obtain no water, and the food that and the water that is available is controlled by the government, because there's laws in place that give Esau the authority to control the food, all right, to have control of left what's left, and you think that they're gonna give it to you? Nah, they're gonna starve you people out, man, which is gonna get a lot of you people that are not of the elect to submit to Esau and to take his to take the MOTB. All right, but it says remain, verse 12, remain in thy camp and keep all the men of thine army, and let thy servants get into their hands the fountain of water which issueth forth the issueth forth of the foot of the mountain. So they knew, all right, we can stop them, but we don't have to waste. None of our men got to perish. All we gotta do is control that water supply that's supplying them with water. Okay. For all the inhabitants of Bethlehem have their water thence, so shall the thirst kill them, and they shall give up their city, and we and our people shall go up to the tops of the mountains that are near, and will camp upon them to watch that none go out of that city. So basically, they're besieging the city. So they and their wives and their children shall be consumed with fire, and before the sword come against them, they shall be overthrown in the streets where they dwell. Thus shalt thou render them an evil reward, because they rebelled and met not thy person peaceably. And these words please Hophernes and all his servants, and appointed to do as they have spoken. All right, so just wanted to bring that out. All right, so how food can be used as a weapon. Let me see if there's more on this. That was in an article, but let's bring out a couple more scriptures and we'll end it. Let's go back to 2nd Ezra 16 and 22. It says, for many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. So there's really no escape. You know, Esau could besiege the city, cut off the city, which is mentioned in 2nd Ezra 15, how one should desire to go into a city, but now shall not be able to, because Esau's going to block it off. Esau's going to do all these military checkpoints. And where you're going to want to go into another city, but you're not going to be able to. Okay? So you're either going to die in the city, die of famine, or die of the sword. Because the people in the city are going to be hungry. You're going to have people, like it says, in, hey, 2nd Ezra 15 and 16 is a good chapter. I could really jump back to back. Second Ezra 15 and 17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And men shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods, because of the lack of bread, and for great tribulation. And that's what the time we're coming into. All right, these people in the cities are going to be fighting, man. They're going to be trying to fight for the last loaf of bread. And you see how easily that can happen, because how these people are now. You remember all these Black Friday events that have been going on for the years, how people will fight for the last TV. And if they can't get it, they make sure you can't get it. People will fight for the last seat on the bus. People will fight for anything. It can't just be food, but even right now, people will fight over anything. For the last pair of shoes. So what happens when the food goes out? When they actually have no food in them? Hey, remember, that Snickers commercial. You're not you when you're hungry. These people are going to turn to their neighbors that they were probably cool with. They're going to turn to their best friends. Because they remember, I remember Tony was always telling me to stack up food, because because the end of the world is coming. So he may have some food. So let me go. You think, and Tony, he got a family to feed. He don't got enough food to spare. So what's that gonna end up happening? That's gonna end up making their each other making them enemies. You can have Tony and Jason. All right, two best friends. Jason got a family to feed, no food, but Tony got all this food. Jason's gonna try to kill Tony to get his food. All right, because people, when you got family to feed and your belly's empty, you're not thinking straight. You're not you, and you're willing to do things that you never thought yourselves of ever doing. Okay. So back in Second Ezra 16 and let me see. You know what? I wonder what here. That was it on that. Let's end it with one more chapter. One more scripture. Lamentations chapter 4 verse 9. It says, "They that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. For these pine away, stricken through for want of the fruits of the field." So we know that starving is way worse than getting killed. All right, you can get blown to death. That's better than dying. Because that's better than starving to death. Because starving to death is a slow, painful way to go out. Your body's literally eating itself. All right, your body's weak, and that's going to lead to people to do the unthinkable, and that even includes eating their own children. Verse 10: "The hands of the pitiful woman have sought in their own children. They were their meat in the destruction of the daughter of my people." Right? Hey, and you saw that, during the time of when Samaria got besieged. You saw that during the time when the Romans besieged Jerusalem. All right, you saw that, and you're about to see it again. Okay, so with that, hopefully, your brothers edified. I'm gonna give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Racha Kodash. Shalom.